State Route 1, SR1, is a major north-south state highway that runs along most of the Pacific coastline of the U.S. state of California. At 656 miles through, it is the longest state route in California and the second longest in the U.S. after Montana. Highway 200 SR1 has several portions designated as either Pacific Coast Highway (PCH), Cabrillo Highway, Shoreline Highway, or Coast Highway. Its southern terminus is at Interstate 5, I-5, near Dana Point in Orange County, and its northern terminus is at US Route 101, US 121, near Leggett in Mendocino County. SR1 also at times runs concurrently with US 101, most notably through a 54-mile stretch in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties and across the Golden Gate Bridge. Be sure to check out these must-see spots along the way, listed in order of south to north. Santa Barbara. Old Mission Santa Barbara, established in 1786 by Spanish Franciscans and nicknamed Queen of the Missions, is a serene retreat from downtown Santa Barbara. Take time to stroll through the mission's lovely gardens, including a collection of plants important to native Chumash Indians, and visit the historic cemetery. But do it quietly. This is still a practicing mission, with Franciscan friars in residence. For more background, consider taking a guided tour to learn more about the mission's art and architecture. Another tour lets you visit the Huerta Historic Garden, which contains plantings that mimic those of the mission era, 1769-1834. Plants here were gathered from those found at other mission sites, then cloned, grafted, or planted from cuttings and seeds. Pismo Beach. Whether you're driving from the north or south on US Highway 101, there's an unforgettable moment as you reach Pismo Beach. The coastal hills open up to reveal shimmering turquoise waters and long stretches of the San Luis Obispo County coastline, with glimpses of this classic beach town hugging the shore. Work your way towards the sands, through streets of beach cottages, surf shops, and clam chowder joints. Once you get there, the historic 1,200-foot-long Pismo Beach Pier beckons. Built in 1928, it serves as a kind of town square for the community. Take a walk out over the waves to watch the surfers, or maybe try your hand at fishing, no license required, then stroll along the oceanfront boardwalk, or just make tracks in the sand along what is one of the most walkable beaches in all of California. Wildlife watching. In San Luis Obispo County, from flittering monarch butterflies as light as a feather to elephant seals that tip the scales at more than 5,000 pounds, San Luis Obispo County has an incredible variety of wildlife and ways to see it. For starters, head to the rugged strip of coastline known as Piedras Blancas, roughly 7 miles north of San Simeon. From observation areas above the sands, watch bellowing bull elephant seals as large as minivans battle for territory, while quieter, smaller females nurture their plump, cigar-shaped pups. Knowledgeable docents are usually on site. From late October into February, monarch butterflies migrate to the groves at Pismo State Beach. At Morro Bay, watch busy sea otters. Also in Morro Bay, scan the skies and waters for herons and egrets, while also keeping one eye on the water for migrating blue, grey, and humpback whales. Hearst Castle, San Simeon mansions are a dime a dozen in California, but nothing comes close to Hearst Castle. Completed in 1947, this extraordinary temple to opulence served as the private residence of publishing magnate William Randolph Hearst. Now, one of California's most visited state historical monuments, the 165-room castle is an eye-popping extravaganza with 127 acres of terraced gardens, sparkling fountains, and wraparound views of the sunny central coast. Start your visit with one of Hearst Castle's daily tours of the main house or special tours of the cottages. Come in November or December to see the estate dressed up in its very festive holiday decor. Every tour provides visitors with an opportunity to spend time marveling at the residence's two lavish pools. Cambria, just 11 miles down the San Luis Obispo County coast from Hearst Castle, charming Cambria is an irresistible destination in its own right. The village's commercial area is divided into two distinct sections along Main Street. With some buildings dating to the 19th century, Cambria's East Village is the oldest part of town. In both West and East villages, you'll find art galleries and eateries such as Lynn's Restaurant. Get a slice of the famous O'Lally berry pie, and Madeline's Restaurant and Wine Tasting Room, where Central Coast wines are poured by day and, in the evening, are paired with such favorites as lamb shank and a pan-seared duck breast. Across Highway 1, Moonstone Beach is lined with hotels. Walk across the road and you can stroll above the surf on a bluff-top boardwalk. Limekiln State Park, Monterey County, as the name suggests. Limekiln State Park was once the site of a thriving limekiln operation, and short walks let you not only explore the ruins of 4 towering limekilns, but also visit the park's adjoining sandy beach. Fueled by felled redwoods and an integral part of cement production, the 19th century kilns were eventually closed. Slowly, the forest around them recovered, and the second-growth redwood stands that thrive in this park today make for a pleasant and shady escape. Enjoy a hike to Limekiln Falls, take the easy jaunt to the park's sandy beach, or pitch a tent in one of the 28 campsites. You can reserve a site up to 6 months in advance. Nepenthe, Big Sur. With Big Sur, views that can only be beaten if you're a seagull. This cliff-topping restaurant rightfully makes it onto everyone's bucket list. At Nepenthe, located on Highway 1 between Pfeiffer Canyon Bridge and Castro Canyon, the views stretch down the coast and the Santa Lucia Mountains plunge in fog-cloaked majesty to the deep blue Pacific. Take it in from a seat on the patio, Cafe, wide open space that is the epitome of unfussiness. One of their famous ambrosia burgers makes for the perfect accompaniment. Linger to also admire the main building, which was designed by a protege of Frank Lloyd Wright's, and hints at that master architect's style of creating structures that are striking, yet at one with their environment. Bixby Bridge Big Sur welcome. To Bixby Bridge, Big Sur's version of the Golden Gate, a must-see road trip spot for many, and probably one of the most famous attractions along the Highway 1 coastline, and rightly so. From the bridge's south end at sunset, the mind reels at not only the natural beauty, but the engineering feat in front of you. One of the highest bridges of its kind in the world, the concrete span soars 260 feet above the bottom of a steep canyon. A staggering 45,000 sacks of cement had to be hauled up the framework during its construction, and this is in 1932, before advanced heavy machinery could help do the lifting. While visiting the bridge, be sure to use designated pullouts and respect private property to preserve this iconic site. Julia Pfeiffer, Burns State Park Big. Sir, want a short hike with a huge reward? The half-mile round-trip waterfall overlook trail at Julia Pfeiffer Burns State Park could be the biggest bang-for-not-much-work hike on the planet. The almost flat stroll ends at an oceanfront overlook with flawless views of McWay Falls, a favorite spot of Big Sur pioneer woman Julia Pfeiffer Burns, for whom the park is named. If you're up for more of a leg stretch, also hike the 1-mile round-trip Partington Cove Trail. The steep but short hike leads over a wooden bridge down to a 60-foot tunnel. Walk through and emerge onto the rocky beach. A few of the trails at this picturesque state park are closed due to erosion. Check the trail section of the park's website for the latest information before traveling. Carmel by the Seas. Charms of this diminutive Monterey County town are many. Carmel Beach, a crescent of pale sand that gives way to turquoise Pacific, is only the beginning. Garden cottages here look plucked from the Brothers Grimm. They sit next to Mediterranean estates and modern ranches. Exceptional dining, wine tasting rooms, boutiques, and nearly 100 art galleries line the town's orderly grid of streets, and a Spanish mission sits at the southern end of it all. But it's the greater environs that best represent this stretch of California, and that means venturing out. Navigate 17-mile drive by car or bike, play around at Pebble Beach, book a surf lesson, or make for Point Lobos State Reserve, where scuba divers and kayakers share the water with harbor seals and sea otters. When the day is almost done, hit the sand to admire the sunset over the Pacific with your canine companion and ponder why it is you don't live here.